Charles Davis joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show, phoning in with the rest of the NFL media group from the Scouting Combine. How are you, Charles?
I'm doing well, and the one thing about Vernon being able to do that, that's his playbook.
No, I know that, but
that's why I like it. It's his play, but I know exactly what you're saying because so many people are thinking that, hey, the way things were going, it gets predictable. It's all those things, and I love his panache, and he played very well at the East-West game. I just wonder, with him, we're going to see it, and as you said, you don't want to be a throwing quarterback, but it's better than to not be there at all. But I think size is going to be an issue for him, and it's going to be a big, strong consideration because the hits you're taking in college running that offense versus what you're taking in the NFL, as we well know, are totally different things.
Where do you stand on the Connor Cook issue? We just played his soundbite there, and he could be potentially a first-round quarterback. He could be the third quarterback taken. Paxton Lynch might be that. That's where sort of everyone's jockeying for position in the QB class right now. Are we making too much of the non-captaincy on occasion and things of that nature?
Yeah. I don't think we're taking too much of it, Rich. I think it's something that is a strong consideration because it's almost a fait accompli, isn't it? If you're a quarterback, you're a captain, especially one that's a 3-year starter. So you got to ask a bunch of questions. Now, I don't think that we want to play draft day, although it's so funny. And I will tell you this is a true story.
Yes.
I had 2 different scouts, one in player personnel and one like the head scout for his team in Mobile. Talk to me about Connor Cook, and both of them, and you should get royalties for this because you were in the movie.
Yes.
Both of them referenced draft day and said, wonder if it's going to be like not going to that kid's birthday party, the Wisconsin kid. So it's a real deal that people are trying to ferret out. For me, I think this is almost a culmination of what I've been talking about for a number of years now. We don't make quarterbacks the way we used to. We don't make field generals. We make guys who are executors because we don't let them call plays in so many different situations, right? We don't let them check off. They don't command a huddle because we don't huddle. So you're having quarterbacks who are becoming executors coming into the league, and then we want them to all be field generals. Now, with Cook, it's different because they're pro style, so he probably has more questions to answer about that. But we shall see. I just hope that he's not protesting too much.
Right.
If you know what I mean.
No, I know that he's calling attention to it maybe, but he's being asked direct questions, and it's not like it hurt the win-loss situation for Michigan State the last few years.
Won a lot of games, and here's what I think if I were him, I would suggest he do.
Yes.
Answer it directly like he's been doing, but try and cut how much he has to answer it with. We won a heck of a lot of games. I was a big part of that along with other teammates who were leaders. And last but not least, I wanted to be there for my team all the time and somehow find a way to show how he played hurt down the stretch. They won the Big Ten championship and qualified for the playoff 4. Because toughness in a quarterback is something we're always looking to. And his message is being obscured only by leadership. Remember, he hurt a shoulder, tried to play through, missed the Ohio State game that they managed to win, but came back not at 100%, but still won a Big Ten championship game and swiped that trophy from Archie Griffin as the player of the game.
Right.
And then moved on from there. I try and get my message more in that direction and try and get everybody off to talk about this because he's going to have to answer all of it behind closed doors. He shouldn't have to keep answering it with us.
Charles Davis joining me here from Indianapolis on the Rich Eisen Show. And here's where the Combine can sometimes be way too detailed and we get lost in it, okay? Because a month ago, Derrick Henry is the Heisman Trophy winning bell cow for Alabama, where they are saddling him up damn near 40 times a game and jamming it down the throats of some top competition. And now he tips the scales pretty much at 2.5 bills, and we're wondering, well, is he really a pro prospect or not? Where do you stand on the issue of Derrick Henry right now, Charles?
2 things quickly come to mind, Rich. Number one, whenever college football is played, remember we as announcers, and I put myself in that category because I've done a bunch of college football, we're hyping the game because we want people to watch it, right? Yep. So when we talk about kids in the pregame, what do we usually get to? He's a Heisman Trophy candidate, right? That's one big one for the college people. We also say the best runner, and boy, the NFL is going to get him. Maybe the top 10 prospect. Well, most of the people talking about that have no idea, Rich. You know that, and I know that. The NFL hasn't weighed in But that's how we hype him. Well, the message gets out there. This is what he is. The NFL's never said that. The second thing for him, unfortunately, is when you're talking about weight and an Alabama running back, immediately comes to mind Eddie Lacy, and there's no getting around it. I don't think he's Eddie Lacy. I thought Eddie Lacy had a weight problem in college, and I said it. I was sitting next to you. I said, hey, I worry about this guy and how big he can get and what have you. It took a while. He got there, unfortunately. I've never thought that about Derrick Henry. This is a big old man, cut up, strong. I don't see a weight problem with him. That's not what I see. I'm eager to see what he runs straight ahead speed, though, because if he's tipping near 2.5 bills and he ends up running in the 4.6s, that's going to hurt him. Most people think he's faster. We'll see.
Well, is he tapping out of the 40? I thought I heard that. Is that just rumor?
Wouldn't surprise me because I'm hearing a number of guys doing that.
Why?
And usually that's a tip-off that they want to do it one time and one time only and try and minimize. You remember Jarvis Jones, the outside linebacker from Georgia a few years ago?
Oh, sure.
Player of the year, right? Made every play at Georgia, the whole deal. But if you talk to the Georgia people, they tell you he's not that athletic. You guys will be surprised when you see him. He tapped out about everything, I believe, Rich, at the Combine. Did it one time. We had like a one-day story on, wow, Jarvis Jones didn't run or jump like we thought he would, and then it went away. Now, if he'd done it at the Combine, it would have lingered for a long, long time. So maybe guys are trying to minimize that if they don't think they're as fast as maybe they want to be.
Charles Davis joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. We played at the top of the show a soundbite from Peyton Barber of Auburn saying the reason why he left school early is because his mom is currently homeless. Yeah. What other stories are you hearing about that you'd love to, throw out there about some of these kids? I know you're usually locked in on these personal side of the equation stories, Charles.
Yeah, when I heard the Peyton Barber one, that wasn't one that I had at all, and I thought that was pretty darn significant, We've got a kid here, Rich, that it's not going to be a tugging on your heartstrings story, but it's kind of a fun one. Jared Norris, the linebacker from Utah, skateboard kid. And, when he went to camp, he went to the skateboard camp and still holds the distinction as the biggest guy ever to go to the skateboard camp. Because, all those guys running the half pipe and all weigh about, $110?
Yes.
Max. And here comes this big old linebacker going up and down, and people love to see that. You will hear more of those stories like you just talked about with Peyton Barber, more of those where, hey, this happened, or I lost my mom, or, my motivation for this. Those will naturally come out of this Combine. But the Peyton Barber one really hit me hard because we always talk about what the kid should do. Why is he coming out so early? His talent says he should stay in school. He's like, look, doesn't matter what it is. If I make any money, it helps my mom. It helps my family. I have to do this. So maybe if I stay a year, maybe I make more, but I don't have time to stay a year, and that's where we always get caught up with, well, he should or he shouldn't, and we make all these declarations. We may not have the full story.
Charles Davis joining me here on the Rich Eisen Show. So which day do we see the number one overall pick out there this weekend? Starting tomorrow, maybe? Do we see him tomorrow, the offensive line group?
If Tennessee keeps the number one pick, I think so, because as much as they need help in other places, and a Jalen Ramsey could be that guy, because if they want to play him at safety, Michael Griffin, they just let go. I'm talking about Tennessee exclusively here. They could go in that direction. But they drafted a franchise quarterback last year, as we like to say. Even the administration, Amy Adams Strunk, said he can't keep getting hit like that, which is one reason Ken Wisenhunt's not there anymore. That's why Mike Mularkey has the job. If that's the declaration from your top, I don't see how, if they keep the pick, they don't go and try their best to protect Marcus Mariota.
Huh. So what about Tunsil? Is that the kid that
he's the guy.
He's the guy?
He's the guy as far as I'm concerned. They may have a different opinion, but I don't see how. I think you take him, you put him at left tackle, you take Taylor Lewan, you move him to right tackle. You've got bookend tackles ostensibly for the next 10 years, and you're not getting your quarterback hit nearly as much, and you give him a chance to fulfill the potential that you see in him. And I think that they see not just Pro Bowl potential, but I think they see all-pro potential in Marcus Mariota, and they can't they cannot keep getting him hit the way he got hit last year.
And then Cleveland goes quarterback too? What do you think?
I think that they're going to have some heavy meetings about that one. But to me, if you're Cleveland, You look at all your history. You have not gotten it right as an organization. And I know the names change, Rich. They change every, 2 years there in Cleveland?
They do, and the name change
and
here
that's
is
part
huge.
of the problem.
Charles, you know Hugh Jackson as well as anybody else,
well.
too. He knows he's not going to fall prey to the whole we've never gotten this right thing because he gets everything right in his mind, you know?
And Hugh, listen, I can't speak for Hugh.
Right.
But with his career and with what he's done, there's no way he goes home at night and doesn't think, if he has conviction about a quarterback, that he's not going to coach him up to be very good. So if they feel that way about one of those guys, then I think that they go in that direction, despite the fact they haven't gotten it right since Bernie Kosar. And Bernie Kosar was a supplemental pick. People may have forgotten that one.
So would you, though? Would you go ahead and take Wentz or Goff?
I would if my head coach is looking my owner in the eye and saying, this is the guy, because that's why you hired that head coach.
But would
you didn't hire that head coach to shy away from it.
But would you do it, Charles? Would you?
I wouldn't.
You wouldn't?
I probably would not, Rich. As we sit here today at February, whatever number this is, I have questions about taking quarterbacks this high in this draft. You know that game we like to play? Okay, let's take this year's group of quarterbacks and put them in other drafts. Where would you rank these guys?
Yeah.
I'm trying to figure out which draft that we got some pretty decent quarterbacks at the top that have any of these guys ahead of them.
So who do they play at quarterback next year?
That's the problem. That's where you go.
Yeah.
Because listen, it's like every year when we say a draft is strong, weak, what have you, my answer has become, where else are you going to get the players? Because this is what you do. Every year it's the draft. This is how we restock it. And we can say it's strong, weak, or whatever.
Yeah.
But how many times have we been totally right about whether strong, weak, or whatever? How many 5th, 6th, 7th undrafted free agents have become stars in this league or solid quality players ahead of guys we drafted 1, 2, and 3? And the flip side is we don't always get them wrong. Everybody acts like we always get it wrong. Oh, God, you guys don't know. Look at the 6th-round guy playing. Yeah, for every time we do that, the first 3 rounds we've gotten right as well. So it's one of those deals where this is where your talent pool comes from, and I don't think there's any real upside to killing your talent pool every year. It is your talent pool. Coach them up.
So you'd go Bosa if you were the Browns at 2?
I would think hard about Bosa there. I would also think about, is he the top-ranked guy on my board? I don't know what Cleveland's going to do.
Right.
But if he's not that guy, is Jalen Ramsey the top-ranked? I don't care how many good players you have at certain positions, Rich.
Yes.
If that guy's going to make you better, I take it. That's just how I operate because I think my team gets better that way, and I figure it out elsewhere. But I do believe that quarterback's huge in play there. And if Hugh feels like one of those guys is a guy that he can coach up and make good, then I think that they'll go there.
Last one for you. You ready for your most important part of your weekend?
I am so ready for that. And in fact, at my workout facility the other day,
yes,
I got peppered with 10 minutes, and that's no joke, during my workout of, are you ready? You're going to commentate for Rich. Here's what's going on, the whole deal.
Wow.
So I think it's one of the fun parts of the week. I love what you've done with it, with what you've done with St. Jude's Hospital. And what I love is how it's connected and resonated around the country because my guy was trying to figure out how to send his video.
I love it.
So I'm just telling you.
Charles, thanks, bud. I look forward to seeing you in Indianapolis tomorrow. See you tomorrow.
I can't wait. You travel safe, Rich.
Thanks, pal. That's Charles Davis.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.